Welcome to the campus of Penn State University. Inside Rec Hall as we get the 2025 Women's Gymnastics Championship going. The very first meet of the tournament with Virginia facing Maryland for the right to advance to the regional final. Top four seeds in this year's tournament, the defending champion LSU Tigers. Oklahoma looking for their first since 2023 when they had back-to-back. Florida hasn't won since 2015. And then Utah rounding out the top four. 9 NCAA championships, second most in NCAA history behind Georgia. Here's what we're looking at in the Pennsylvania Regional right here in State College. Four seeded teams, LSU, Michigan State, Kentucky, and Arkansas. Three out of the SEC, Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan all out of the Big Ten joining them. And then the fight is to see who gets to the regional second round. Maryland and West Virginia, who we are focusing on with national champion in 2016, Kennedy Baker. I'm Alex Perlman, and Kennedy will start with Maryland, making their 7th straight regional appearance.
Maryland's gotten the ball rolling, Alex, and it starts off with Alexa Rothenbescher. She is amazing. She's been a fighter for this team, added in all around this season to impact their scores, get them going there for their meet. Excited to see her.
And for West Virginia, a real renaissance season for Jason Butts, going from 51st, missing the tournament last year, to getting the final spot in this year's regionals.
And they're led off on the opposite side by a freshman, Sophia Rice, making a huge impact, coming in hot, got a 9.975 earlier in the season on vault. She's competing on vault tomorrow regardless of how West Virginia does, and went over to the floor exercise at Big 12s, ended up being the floor runner. Was a pleasant surprise for the team. They had competed in the first session, waited all day, and then it was a nice exclamation point, her getting that floor runner up as a freshman as well.
Now, Kennedy, this is one of the most exciting days of the season, if not the most, because it's the only time you throw out NQS. All that matters is how one team score stacks up against the other. It's win and advance to tomorrow, lose, and your season is over here today. And then we start with a couple of quad meets in the second round. Tomorrow, Saturday, will be the regional final, where only 2 teams out of the 9 that have come here to Pennsylvania will advance. Every meet right here on ESPN+. So strap in. We are ready to go here as Maryland battles West Virginia, the first of 4 first-round matchups. After this, 4 Eastern today, it's Utah State and BYU over in Salt Lake City. So here's what we're looking at to start things off with. Maryland tied for 26th in the country on vault. They are the higher seed, the number 31 seed, as opposed to number 36 coming in the national qualifying score. How gymnastics teams are ranked in college. And West Virginia will start on bars, where they are the 47th ranked team. So right away, Kennedy, this is where Maryland wants to take a quick advantage going into the second rotation.
Yeah, they're led off by Logan Buckman, and she has nailed this start. Head coach Brett Nelligan chose her specifically. He likes putting her in that leadoff spot. She's ready to go on floor as well, but on vault she really excels. He wants to get the sticks started out, her especially.
Well, here we go inside Rec Hall. Logan Buckman to lead us off. And the 2025 NCAA Gymnastics Championship is officially underway.
Opens with a big Yurchenko full. Tried to get that stick. You could see she was fighting for it. Different vaults throughout the competition. That one starts from a 9.95. They only have 2 10.0 start value vaults in their lineup. So on those 9.95 start value vaults, they have to dial in on those landings.
All right, here is West Virginia. They're coming off of a 49.05. They had to count a fall at the Big 12 championship. Not a meet that Jason Butts thought was their best by any means, just a 194.875. That was just about a full point lower than their NQS coming in.
Yeah, Alex, Jason said that they have so much more to give. Oh, couldn't get that dowel over the bar. Brooke has been such a solid leadoff for West Virginia. That was such an uncharacteristic fall. Not necessarily the way that you want to start off the meet. They're going to have to get it going from the rest of the lineup. Luckily, they've got a senior after her, Anna Lee, ready to step up. Wraps up this routine with a double layout. Want to get all your 10s, though. You never know when you want to count a score.
So now, how does West Virginia respond, right? Because you see your senior, who consistently leads off 3 events for you, go down in the very first routine.
This response is going to set the pace for the rest of the meet. They're in a good spot with Anna Lee coming up second, getting that seniority. You want that leadership, someone that you can trust under pressure up next. But if they want to stay in competition with Maryland, they know that they have to stay on the bar and get the sticks.
First score in for Maryland is Buckman's 9.75. Remember, you can keep 5 scores, drop the lowest one.
A better Yurchenko full for them in their lineup. Good job from Reyna trying to find that landing. Just a small hop on that. That's going to be a lower deduction, though, than Logan's step. And head coach Brett Nelligan said they are not focused on the scores at that meet. That's what kind of gives them an advantage in this first session. He just wants to see good, clean gymnastics. He knows that's what's going to get them there, not focusing on the scores.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a different outlook for Jason Butt, so you can see in your screen getting ready with Anna Lee. He was saying, you know, like, we just have to go out and beat Maryland. So if they don't do their job, we're going to see that, and we're going to keep our eye on that. Brett Nelligan on the other side, Kennedy, was just like, we don't care what West Virginia does, right? As long as we hit, we know that we're going to be in good shape. And incredibly,
absolutely,
there has been a Nelligan, either his dad Bob or now Brett, as the head coach of Maryland for 46 straight years. I would talk about longevity for a family. That certainly applies.
Yeah, they've had a lot of success through their family with this program. And, you know, having that perspective to not look at the scores, I think is going to give them that advantage. But in the same way, I can see why West Virginia, even Brooks' performance, I know impacted what he said to Anna Lee. Jason Butts talked about that. He is looking at other teams' performances to coach his girls on what they need to do, and that could change on how the other teams are responding to them. Nice job from Anna Lee. Her job right now is to stay on the bar, to kind of restart the momentum and energy for the lineup. Nice job there. Had some struggles earlier in the season on this routine. Big hop backwards, but they needed that. They needed a hit. They want that confidence and momentum to get started throughout the rest of the lineup. Nice effort on that Jaeger. She actually pulled in a little bit close. I could tell, though, she probably was responding to Brooks' miss, wanted to make sure she was on top of that bar so they didn't lose another 5/10 there.
Yeah, but that was a really important routine, and well done for Anna Lee. I mean, not a surprise when you talk about someone who's a senior that has done 3 events for them and all Big 12 on the floor. We'll see that in the third rotation. All right, following up a couple of 9-7 type scores, the all-arounder Busher.
And their first stick. That was awesome for Alexa. She's their first 10.0 start value vaults. Didn't give away any tenths on the landing. Really great correction there. That should be the biggest score that they've gotten in this lineup so far. Again, battled back from some lower leg pain to get back in these lineups, putting scores out for the team. Really great fight to see from her throughout the season.
So West Virginia certainly wants to drop Brooke Albin's 8-9, that is, to start things off on bars. Jaden McDonald will follow up Anna Lee. You can compare the scores as they continue to come in. Remember, all that matters is that you finish with more points than the other team. The only time all season that is the case, where it's just mano a mano, you go up. And Kennedy, I know this isn't really a format that you had when you competed, so what is it like for you to watch this and knowing what these gymnasts are going through?
It's fun for me as a spectator, as an athlete. I don't know if I loved it because I can feel the intensity from, you know, the booth. So I know down on the floor, it's 10 times more. These regional competitions are so important because not only do you want to make it to the national championship, but if you don't pass this round, your season's also over. So especially for those seniors, you know, they want to keep it going. They want to keep doing gymnastics as long as possible.
You know, the door is open, though, if West Virginia can continue to hit on bars, because no score above a 9.75 at the moment for Maryland. And this is another big routine here for Jaden McDonald. I mean, they will be the rest of this rotation. I think that goes without saying.
Big moment for Jaden. It's nice to see her rise to that occasion. At Big 12, she fell on that ray. Was too far away, couldn't reach for the bar. I like how she took the risk of still making it big, had a lot of stretch to get back to that bar. Hop forwards, but they need to stay on the bar. They're giving away a little bit of tense in the landing, but their job right now really is to just hit and get hit after hit.
And you're hoping for these scores to advance and increase as well as you get through the lineup.
And they're doing a good job of building that momentum after Brooks in the beginning. You know, they've got a lot of sophomores and juniors sprinkled throughout this lineup, have a mix of experiences there.
Taylor Reck now at Big Ten's, she had a 9.75 on vault.
Yeah, she's been pretty consistent on this vault, Alex. She usually hits around that 9.8 mark. Really clean Yurchenko full. It's one of their best in the lineup. I like the height and amplitude she gets off of the table. She also excels on the pre-flight. Her form is pretty good. I see why head coach Brett Nelligan has her in the lineup.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. That's the amplitude really that the judges are looking for off the table, right? Because that's a big part. Of course, landings when you talk about vault, but they really are looking for that push.
Exactly, Alex. And especially when you don't have as many 10.0 start value vaults. If you've got 5 Yurchenko fulls back-to-back, they have no choice but to compare each one. So you want to see your bigger ones at the back half of the lineup so they're not comparing or changing those scores.
So Brooke Irwin now follows up McDonald. Her score just cut. As we wait on that, the junior from Fort Lupton, Colorado, coming in as a 9.675 officially for Jaden McDonald.
Brooke is used to this pressure spot, even though they've gotten the ball rolling. She had to go up after a fall at Big 12, so she's capable and ready to compete under this intensity. Doing nice work here, really clean work on top of the bar. Nice job trying to get her handstands all the way up. Nice job, a nice clean landing from her, just a small shuffle backwards. Should be about half a tenth in deduction right there. One of the better routines they've had so far. Have to keep this momentum going for West Virginia.
Definitely the best landing so far for the Mountaineers.
Clean form, a little pikey in the beginning. The judges want to see those hips all the way flat and extended when they're flipping throughout. They might take a little bit of deduction there as well.
Rhea LeBlanc looking to potentially give Maryland its first 9.8 plus score. That's what these teams are looking for. They have 9.8. They are probably going to be in tomorrow's competition and continue their season.
Oh, and missed her hands a little more on the table, looked high on from our angle and couldn't get that block. If the gymnasts don't connect with the table well, they're gonna miss that amplitude and height that the judges are looking for, like you were talking about, Alex.
And so that is now going to be the score that Maryland is going to want to drop. They're going to have to count this 9.725 from Engelmeyer with just the anchor Natalie Martin still to come. And here's Amber Lowe. Did not have the Big 12 championship that she was hoping for. Jason Butts telling us she was visibly upset with her performance all the way until they got off the plane. Felt like she let the team down. Just a 9.35 on bars, 9.725 on beam, and a 9.75 on floor. Kennedy, we know she's capable of much more than that.
And like you said, she was disappointed in that performance. She is a perfectionist. Had struggles on bars, specifically at Big 12s. Great effort there. That looks so much cleaner than her last. And that's where she struggled at the Big 12 competition. She caught a little too far away from the bar. Couldn't get that swing out for the kip that she needed. Great correction there. Ends with a solid double tuck, looking to get the landing. Oh, feet just a little too far in front, but great bounce back. I know that is an improvement for Amber. Should feel good about that routine.
And welcome to those of you joining us on SportsCenter as we begin the 2025 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Champion with 2015 national title holder for the Florida Gators, Kennedy Baker. I'm Alex Perlman. We are finishing up the first rotation here on the campus of Penn State University. The first round matchup between Maryland and West Virginia. These two teams going at it. Kennedy, only one can advance to tomorrow's second round.
This was huge. Maryland needed this vault. This was one of Natalie's best. Yurchenko 1.5 starts from a 10.0. Really small hop out of that. Nice clean landing and form from Natalie on that vault.
Well, we are over here on ESPN Plus for the rest of this meet. There's one more first round matchup as well on ESPN Plus. Utah State and BYU in Salt Lake City. That starts at 4 Eastern. All of the NCAA regionals right here on ESPN Plus. We'll toss it back to you. And so Amber Lowe with a 9.75. Trinity Macy is the anchor right now for West Virginia. We've had hits since Brooke Albin's fall. It's all on Macy right now. I'm feeling that pressure.
She can nail this dismount, Alex. Oh, she fought for it, had that hop in place, but great recovery from West Virginia from that fall to start it off. I like how the lineup really didn't let that affect them. Annalie did a good job picking it up and carrying it all the way through to Trinity.
Well, that was a big score for Natalie Martin, too, on vault with that 9.85. That boosts Maryland's total to 8.85. We wait on this score now from Trinity Macy because it is going to decide what the deficit is for West Virginia. It ended up, I think, being much, much closer than everyone maybe thought after that first fall. But the good news is, in college gymnastics, 5 scores count. You take the top 5, you drop the lowest. So you are afforded just one mistake, and it looks like West Virginia was able to get by. And it's not a position you want to put yourself in, though, as the Mountaineers fall on their first routine. Kennedy, it's got to give them confidence, I think, going into the second rotation.
Yeah, for sure. They did a good job of bouncing back. That's what head coach Jason Butts likes about this team. They're fighters and dynamic. That's why they're having this Cinderella season. They're still in close proximity to Maryland. This meet is not over by a long shot.
So far, the low score to count for West Virginia is a 9.675, 9.725 for Trinity Macy. That was a really important routine because now just a 3/10 deficit, and we're only one rotation in. Hi there, Alex Perlman, Kennedy Baker with you. Well, Kennedy, I mean, this is such an exciting day, right? These next days specifically, in all 4 regionals, we get to see these dual meets going on, and only one team can advance. And usually they are so narrowly separated in terms of NQS and in terms of scoring potential that, I mean, they really are kind of must-see TV.
Yeah, this is one of the most exciting parts of the season, just leading it off with this dual meet round 1 session going into the regional competition. We've got really good teams. We're seeing them fight right now. They're close in proximity to scoring. Can't wait to see who makes it out alive with the 2 teams.
Yeah, there is no doubt, and we've got a lot more gymnastics to come here in the Pennsylvania Regional. This is just the start because we've got 2 second-round matchups tomorrow. It's Michigan State and Kentucky, the seeded teams. Ohio State, Penn State join them. A little bit of Big Ten flavor with just one SEC team mixed in. And then we get back to the SEC. LSU and Arkansas, the seeded teams. Michigan coming in, who is always a team that is lethal, dangerous in the postseason, the 2021 national champs. And Kennedy, they will be joined by Maryland or West Virginia. Tall order to get out of that first round and get all the way to the regional final, but this is gymnastics. Absolutely anything can happen, which makes this sport so great.
Every single session is hard. Starting off with this first session, you'll see these teams 8 and 9 and the number 1 in the country and number 16, they are competitive. A lot of these teams have won national championship, so they know what it's like. Can't wait to see what's going to happen this weekend.
And we are so excited to have the number 1 team in the country in the building. They start competition tomorrow. LSU, the defending national champions. For the first time ever, they won it last year. Let's look back on how it happened.
And the hard work, the preparation, it all comes down to this.
If basketball has March Madness, women's gymnastics has April Anarchy.
This is Savannah Shanehair. Oh, wow. Ooh. And that foot hit. Oh, no. Pressure is on. If they want a national championship, it's all up to Aaliyah. What a huge moment for the LSU Tigers. For the first time in school history, they're taking the title back to Baton Rouge.
We've all worked so hard this entire season, and I looked it up before I went, and we wanted this so bad. I wanted it for them, and that routine was for every single one of us.
I don't even think I can put it into words. This is literally the moment we have dreamed about since we stepped foot on this campus as freshmen. We worked so hard and just sacrificed so much. I'm just so proud of this team. We fought to the very end. It wasn't over until it was over, and we got there.
Welcome back inside Rec Hall. Alex Pearlman, Kennedy Baker with you here on ESPN Plus, taking you through this first round matchup between West Virginia and Maryland. The goal for the Mountaineers in what is one of their most difficult rotations, 47th in the country. They needed to get through it. They needed to be in striking distance. It is mission accomplished so far. But now we go to the second rotation where West Virginia 35th in the country on vaults, Maryland tied for 25th on bars. So they will still have a little bit of an advantage here. They are the higher seeded team. And West Virginia starting off with Brooke Albin now on vault, who also began this meet on bars and fell, looking for a real bounce back routine here.
Big hop on that Yurchenko full. Big hop on that Yurchenko full to start it off for West Virginia. Brooks stepped up a lot this year, working on the fine details, but again, emphasis on those landings, especially in the back half in the postseason. They have to find these sticks.
All right, so Victoria Gatzendorfer is going to lead off, the senior at Big Tens. She had a 9.725 on bars, also started off that rotation. Transferred to Maryland after starting her career at Missouri as a freshman.
She's been such a leader for this team. Head coach Brett Nelliken couldn't say enough good things about the gymnastics work that she's brought to Maryland from Mizzou. Wraps up with this Stalder double tuck. That's a hard skill to do. You've got to have a lot of back flexibility to get it done. And the first stick of the night on bars from Victoria. Nice job to start it off from Maryland.
Try and open up a little bit of the door here with Brooke Albin's score coming in at 9.675. Remember, they were down 3/10 coming in. They'll go to Taylor Tui now, the freshman out of Dover, Pennsylvania. West Virginia just 110.0 start value. The only one is Sophia Rice, and we'll see her in the anchor spot. She went as high as 9.975 this year.
Follows Brooke with another Yurchenko full. Nails that landing, though. That is the performance that West Virginia needs. They have 5 start or 5.995 start value vaults. So especially on those no 10.0 start value vaults, you've got to find the landing.
Here's Sarah Seville, the freshman, who not only will compete today on bars, she is guaranteed to be in tomorrow's meet no matter what as an individual. Now, there are individual competitors that we'll all see tomorrow who can vie for a spot in nationals themselves. Whether or not they finish highest in the all-around or on their event, the highest scored gymnast on each event tomorrow will get to go that isn't already going with their teams. We'll get way more into that in the second round. But this is her only event today, and she certainly knows what's on the line for her team, even if she doesn't advance, she'll get at least one more bars routine in her freshman season.
And as a freshman, it's been impressive to see her consistency already out of the gate. Has put up some really strong 9.8 and 9.85 routines. Starts with this Maloney, packed down to the low bar. Had slight leg separation on that Maloney. Beautiful pirouette on top of the bar, though. That was textbook perfection right there. And another nailed handstand. You can see Maryland is fighting for these bars tints all the way through to the landing. Wow.
Yeah, they are asserting themselves right now, Kennedy, showing that, hey, maybe we can gain some separation right here.
And I think that's what makes this team so special. We've seen their fight throughout the season, but to really see it come to fruition in these last couple of meets is such a fun experience for not only the team, but for the viewers as well. And to wrap this up with such a strong stick from an underclassman. Great work that they're doing there.
And now Emerson Smith, 9.75 for Tui, so the score's building just a bit now for West Virginia.
She can get a lot of pop off of this table. Small hop, a little bit of arms bending on the table. The judges want to see those arms all the way extended when they make impact with that vault.
Now Tasha Brzezowski, who went through such an emotional time at regionals 2 years ago, lost her dad Patrick the night before the competition, just a week after he was in a motorcycle accident. What did she do? She went out and did a 9.85 bars routine. She called it the worst and best moment of her life and dedicated that routine to her father, who was a Marine. There's a video online, a Maryland site, of him giving a walk of honor through the hospital with everyone saluting him before he passed away. And all that happened in Pittsburgh, just over 2 hours from State College, as she makes her return here to the bars at regionals.
And so far, clean work on top of the bar. A little loose in her form there on her shoot over down to the low bar. Wants to wrap it up with this dismount here, get another stick for their team. Drills.
I can't tell who's more excited, Tasha or Brett. I mean, this is, though, you hear it all the time, right? Sticks are contagious. When you get into the postseason, I feel like, Kennedy, there's got to be some sort of expectation seeing your teammates do it before you.
There's an expectation, but again, kind of like you said, sticks are contagious. I feel when you see a stick before you go, it lessens the pressure and then makes it easier to do, because you see somebody do it before you. Doesn't feel like you have to do it, but then it's easier to do it because the pressure's off a little bit.
All right, well, the pressure's most definitely on, because that is about as good as we have seen on bars for Maryland. Emerson Smith at a 9.8. Here's Carly Nelson.
Big hop back. West Virginia has to find these landings on the Yurchenko full. Had a bit of leg form as well throughout that vault, a little uncharacteristic. And you'll see those knees bent a little bit, piked down. Maybe we thought that she wasn't as high as she was. Had a really good rise off of the table, but they need to see that extension throughout the vault as well.
Nothing but 9.8s so far for Maryland, and you can see the scores compared to West Virginia as they are trying to add to that and increase the 3/10 lead. Haley Merchant will try to keep this stick train going. It was a slow start here, Ken, but I feel like things are starting to heat up. Maybe both teams dealing with some nerves in that first rotation.
Definitely. It's hard to get it rolling. This is the biggest environment that they've been in so far this season. Starting to get looser, though, throughout the competition. You can see that especially from Maryland. And Haley can do a huge routine. Amazing height over that bar. Smooth swing down to the low bar. She doesn't have to go to handstand because she connects it directly off of her high bar release. Full twisting double layout. That is such a difficult bar routine, and she's upgraded that from last year. You know, she was going with a Maloney pack routine. Now she does a Ray with a huge full out, putting in a lot of work this season to elevate her gymnastics.
She's been so good on bars this year, too. She'll compete as an individual as well tomorrow, no matter what happens. Here's Carly DiCello. 9.65 for Nelson is the score right now that West Virginia is going to be dropping. You can see it grayed out on your screen. So that and Brzezowski's score for Maryland are the ones that would go away. See what DiCello can do here.
And she was one of their only sticks at Big 12. Oh, they could have used another stick, had another big hop back. You can tell that West Virginia is going for these vaults. They're trying to compete big and freely, but just missing these landings. Had big distance away from the table, but again, anticipated it a little too soon, piked her hips too quickly and couldn't find that landing.
Well, Carly is also going to be competing as an individual on vault and also beam. We'll see that coming up in the next couple of rotations in the fourth. That's where West Virginia finishes. Maryland will finish on floor, so being the higher ranked team, they go in Olympic order and they finish on one of the most fun events for a lot of the gymnasts. Rothenbuscher follows up Merchant's 9.825. This is exactly what Brett Nelligan was hoping for in the second rotation. They're seeing consistency, they're seeing sticks, and this is who you want up to if you are Maryland. Alexa Rothenbuscher, the grad student, only competed bars at Big Tens because she was actually dealing with a torn plantar fascia on senior night. But she's back in the all-around already. Brett told us that, you know, it was something that just got better, and she was fine physically to practice and compete.
And her work ethic is one of the reasons that she's excelled on this Maryland team. Nice job there. A little close on that release move. She added in bars last year. Full twisting double tuck, the same dismount. As
wow.
Haley in a tuck and another stick.
Wow.
They
what
are
a bars
crushing
rotation. I mean, they had a good one in Big Tens with a 49.225. This is right up there.
This is fantastic for Maryland. They're peaking at the right time. And if they can make it to the next day of competition tomorrow, session 2, this is a good bar rotation to build off of for tomorrow.
This is a massive vault coming up now for Sophia Rice. Can they break back into the 9.8 range? Could be even higher.
They're only 10.04 stick. They're gonna take probably a significant deduction in that chest position. It was so low, almost close to the ground, but she was trying so hard not to move her feet. And let's take a look at where she lands. Oh, so close. But that's gonna be at least 1 to 2 tenths in deduction in the chest position. Oh. But wow, what a fight to get that stick. She knows they need these landings.
It was a stick technically, so the plunger hat has been applied. One of the best stick, I guess you would call it a crown. One of the best stick crowns in all of college gymnastics. Now Rhea LeBlanc to finish off a massive bars rotation following Rothenbuscher's 9.85.
She's an aggressive bar swinger. Gets a lot of height and distance away on the bar, like you saw right there on that Jaeger release move. Got the stick on this at Big Tens. Let's see if she can get a repeat performance here. Oh, small shuffle back, but wow, what an improvement on the landings for Maryland. That might have been the most bar sticks I've seen from their bar team this entire season. That is the meet that you want in the postseason at the regional competition.
It was their strongest event throughout the season, and we're seeing why here in the regionals.
Yeah, they've improved their work on top of the bar, and then all they needed were those landings. Seeing them get those today is really special in the competition that they need.
NCAA Gymnastics Championship begins Thursday, April 17th with the semifinals on ESPN2, and then the final returning to ABC once again. That's Saturday, April 19th with a preview show at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, and then the meet at 4. For more information on all 90 NCAA championships, visit ncaa.com. Rhea LeBlanc's score of 9-8 gives a very solid 49-15 to the Maryland Terrapins, and they continue to increase that advantage halfway home. Well, this is the only regional. 3 others that all expect to be non-stop action. Let's go to Alabama for you. How about Jade Carey, the 2-time Olympic gold medalist, highlighting Oregon State's season?
Jade is exceptional. She's dynamic. She's an Olympic gold medalist, and she's showing us this season why. Such a consistent all-around winner for the Oregon Beavers.
And Florida, the 3 seed, Leanne Wong, tied last season as the national runner-up in the all-around with Jade Carey.
And Leanne settling in at this back half of the season, 2-time Olympic alternate, putting out performances that Florida needs and using her score in competition.
I mean, you talk about a gauntlet. How about Florida, Oregon State with some of the biggest stars in the sport in the second round matchup, and then Cal, Alabama, North Carolina, and Iowa. That is on Friday. Tomorrow, Clemson and Rutgers will play in their first round game, meet 3 Eastern time right here on ESPN Plus as well to try to join the Gators, the Beavers, the Wolfpack on Friday night. Only 2 of those teams are going to advance. Only 1 here this afternoon between Maryland and West Virginia. And currently, it has been all Terrapins. They have opened up almost an 8/10 lead at this point. But we are only halfway home. It's going to be the beam coming up for Maryland. Anything can happen there, in West Virginia will try to make up some ground on floor when we return to State College.
Ages.
This one is going to be a nail-biter, no doubt about it.
She just does it so effortlessly.
Nailing that landing. They've been dreaming of this moment since they were little.
Basketball has March Madness. Women's gymnastics has April Anarchy.
I can't wait for the national semifinals. Thursday, April 17th, ESPN2, then Saturday on ABC. The pre-show at 3:30 Eastern and the championship at 4. LSU adding to that short list of programs that have ever won a national championship. They became, Kennedy, just the 8th program. Florida did it 3 times in a row. Not again. Georgia, the all-time leader, with Utah right behind them. And you see just 1 for Michigan. And do we add to that this season?
I think yes. What's fun about gymnastics is there's so many good teams, and it always surprises me when we only see 8 that have a national championship. They've had members and individuals that have won a national championship, but as a team to only have 8, I could see a 9th this year.
Is this going to be the year for, I don't know, potentially Missouri, for Cal? They are going to have a chance. There is no doubt about that. All right, here in Rec Hall. First rotation, Maryland led by 3/10. They have increased that lead 7.5 now. That bars rotation, they really added some distance between them, and that was exactly what they were looking for with a 49-1-5. West Virginia so far, Ken, has not gone above 49 or met 49 yet, with a 48-7 on 48-5-5 on bars, and there's no doubt that they have some work to do going into the third rotation when they head to floor.
Yeah, they definitely have some work to do, Alex. The good thing is floor is one of the events that they excel at. They can get the energy and momentum back on track on floor. It's a dynamic event where you can really let loose and have fun, and Jason Butt says that's when his team excels, is when they're light and happy on the floor.
And Maryland goes to beam. We have seen in postseason what beam can do to a team. Hopefully for the Terrapins, it is going to be them taking advantage of this opportunity. It starts with the sophomore Lauren Brendlinger, you see right there, getting some words of wisdom. She's competed both beam and floor every meet but one this year, and at Big Tens fell an 8.55. So she is looking to better that opportunity here, and we know this might be the most important routine of the meet coming up here for Maryland to try to set the tone.
This is a big test for Lauren to get it started off for Maryland. They've had struggles on this event throughout the season. Like you mentioned, she had that fall at Big Tens. They had to counterfall actually at Big Tens as well. Definitely don't want to do that here this weekend.
Should note though, it was just the first time she had fallen all year.
Nice job on that series there, and that confidence, and leading off the team on beam is a hard event. That's why he picked her, is her poise and calmness. That's why she stayed on the beam all season except for at Big Tens. And if there is a meet that you want to fall at, it's not the regional competition, it's the ones before.
That's right.
So getting that out of the way set her up well for today. Beautiful job on that piked front toss. It's hard to keep your legs straight, stick it on top of the beam. Last year, she wasn't even in the lineup. This is the first year that she's competing as a sophomore. Worked hard over the summer to get those skills ready. Grabs with a 1.5. It's a blind landing. Fought for that stick. I gotta give her props to that.
It's like a hula hoop.
A little windy up there, but otherwise strong start for Maryland.
She didn't move her feet though.
She didn't. We'll see what the judges do. I would give her the stick just off of it alone.
All right, well, an acrobatic finish right there for Brendlinger. Let's see what West Virginia can do on floor, where once again an event that they lead off with Brooke Albin, doing some of the best gymnastics of her career right now, according to head coach Jason Butts.
Big start. A lot of height on that double pike. She is doing her best gymnastics in this senior season. It's difficult to peak in the end of your career, and impressive. Also does 3 passes, still has that endurance and strength to show off. Clean landing there. Those are the finishes that West Virginia wants out of these tumbling passes. Closes with this double tuck. Hard to know, especially at the end of season, your body's a little tired, how much momentum and energy you put behind it. Great work, found the perfect balance of what she needed to close out that routine. Nice bounce back from Brooke there. This was her best pass in her routine. Cleanest landing out of that, smooth to the finish. And again, had a really nice rise. That's a difficult pass to do at the end of your routine, especially when you're tired at the end of season. Nice way to close it out there.
All right, so West Virginia having to make up 7.5 tenths going into this third road. And we'll see what the score is, but should be a good one coming in from Albany. All right, now following Brendlinger's 9.75 is Layla Hammer. Talked about the issues on beam at Big Tens. They had to count one of the falls. They did count her 9.15 and dropped the Brendlinger score.
And you can see that Layla is using the momentum that Lauren started off with the lineup, got that confidence rolling on top of the beam. Really nice front pike toss there as well. They have some unique skills throughout their lineup that you're gonna see take some risk on top of the beam. This is a nice improvement from Layla last week, 2 weeks ago at Big Tens. She competed 2 weeks ago at Big Tens. She competed and had a mistake. This was the fall that they had to count. It's nice when you see these athletes bounce back, especially as underclassmen. You don't have all of the numbers under your belt as everybody else does. Have to trust your practice. Good improvement there from Layla, though.
Yeah, this is a really strong senior class for Maryland coming in. You've got a grad student in Rothenbuscher who is the lone all-arounder. Rhea LeBlanc, a senior. We talked about Gatzendorfer, Haley Merchant, Sierra Kondo, who we will see as well. You know, last year, they finished third in the first session of the Gainesville Regional second round. They didn't have to do this first round. Their 196.35 was the second highest score in a regional in program history. They know what it's like to compete in these types of environments, and they're showing it is not phasing them. We'll see if Sophia Rice can add to Brooke Albin's score of 9.775 to start.
Huge height on that first pass. I love that the jump was higher even than the tumbling. I like to see those rise on those leaps. We mentioned it in the intro. The Big 12 runner-up on floor. She can do a dynamic routine. She's just such a powerful gymnast.
And she'll be there individually no matter what. Entered the floor just 3 weeks ago. Only her 5th collegiate routine here on the floor. And we were just wondering, as it got down to the final rotation of the second session, West Virginia competed in the first one. We're like, Sophia Rice is still winning this thing. Like, is anybody going to get above a 9.9? Eventually it happened, but not by much.
The confidence and poise that Sophia has as a freshman looks so seasoned already. She has a big career ahead of her at West Virginia. Beautiful routine. That should be a solid score. This jump was high in the air. Really like to see that. The judges love seeing that rise on the jumps and showed that backwards movement there. Has all forward passes, has to show the directional change in her choreography or add in that backwards layout, tuck, step out. And clean way to close it out.
Showing why she was the Big 12 runner-up on floor, originally from Morgantown. Pretty much had to coach herself with an iPad on a tripod for 2 seasons because there weren't the high-level gymnasts that she was at. Just a really incredible story. Here is Rothenbuscher, 9.75, 9.725 the scores for Maryland right now on beam. Looking to break into that 9.8 range and put some more room between them and West Virginia.
Ooh, difficult series. Opens usually with a front toss back tuck. Looked like a broken connection. Curious to see if she's going to repeat it and try to get it again. I don't think the judges are going to give her credit for that. It didn't look fluid enough for me.
You know, is that a situation where, because you're tacitly admitting that you missed the connection if you repeat it? But I'm with you. I think, Kennedy, that was broken.
And that's the risk and the fun part of gymnastics, right, is Alexa had to make that decision. She chose not to go back and repeat it. I can't say that I would have chose any differently, because you're right. If you go back and repeat it, you're admitting to the mistake that you made. But then again, what if you fall? That's even worse. And they might have to count this score. You see that right arm had that shake and the left just didn't keep moving.
Yeah, that's not fluid right there, unfortunately.
They're not going to give her credit for that.
No.
That's going to change her start value. She'll start a 10th or 2 down. But again, great job staying on the beam, and you don't want it. They're going to want to drop that score, but they might have to count it.
They could, and so it was important for her to stay on and finish out that routine the best she could. Sophia Rice had a 9.825, and now here is Amber Lowe, a very powerful sophomore from Georgia.
Beautiful landing there, super clean, stepping back to the lunge. It's not a deduction if they see that step backwards, as long as they show control. One of the reasons head coach Jason Butts loves coaching Amber is how chill she is. She's fun, has a dry sense of humor, great energy in practice, and then backs it up with huge gymnastics. Another solid landing.
You can see on the bottom of your score tower, as these scores come in, the differential will update as well with what West Virginia is trailing Maryland by at this point.
Last pass here. West Virginia has a couple 3-pass routines sprinkled in their lineup. I like that. Have a lot of strength and conditioning training that they keep up throughout the entire season. Great job staying in bounds for Amber on that last pass. Looked like her legs buckled a little at the end.
Well, no matter what, it's really a bounce-back performance from the last time out when she was just so upset, felt like she let her team down at Big 12s.
Not today, though. This was a great save from Amber. You could see she landed low, so close to that line. Takes that leadership, really, to know that you need those 10s, get all of them, keep it in the lines.
9.55 for Rothenbuscher, so they are going to want to drop that score. They are at the moment. And now here is Gatzendorfer. Had a 9.9 on beam at the Big Ten Championship. A special individual, part of the school's first ever sports management program. Her head coach, Brett Nelligan, also that major and has kind of pushed for it. She wants to get involved in sports administration. With so many professional sports in the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area, kind of amazing that University of Maryland didn't have one.
She is fantastic on beam. I love the challenge and risk that she takes in her gymnastics. She opened with that difficult triple series. And even on her leaps right there, she gets rise and pop off of the beam that takes confidence and experience to go aggressively under pressure. Just the dismount left after this leap series, a little bobble in that shoulder. Less of a deduction, though, than Layla's. It looked a little bit smoother, the beam. Great way to close, small shuffle back, but they needed that. They needed a strong hit with a lot of sticks throughout on the skills. Good job from Victoria.
Yeah, it's definitely another one of those. So a hit for Gatzendorfer. Amber Lowe's score was in 9.725, just below what she posted at the Big 12 Championship a couple of weekends ago. Big routine for Riley with a 9.825 and a 9.775 counting. The scores, when you compare them to Maryland on beam, are certainly better, but remember, they have to make up almost 8/10 here in these final two rotations.
Riley is alluring on this event. Hard to take your eyes away. Does beautiful gymnastics. Has this extension on floor that you're not going to see a lot throughout this competition. Great landing on that. Super clean stick, straight into her choreography. Riley's specificity to her form in gymnastics is admirable. It makes her stand out on the floor. Needs to find the landing on this front 1.5. Beautiful job. Again, another split jump that was higher than the tumbling pass. I love to see that. So much height and effort on that.
Not phased in the least for the freshman.
I love her extension and her tumbling. Legs are glued together. You can see her pointing all the way through her feet. And then the rise on the split jump hits that 180 at the peak.
And this is a situation here for both of these teams. Yes, a little bit closer for West Virginia maybe than Maryland competing here. Actually, they're probably pretty similar now that I think about it. But, you know, they're creating their own momentum, their own energy here. And they are relying on that in this first round matchup. Natalie Martin follows the 9.775 from Gatzendorfer. Still looking for that first 9.8 on beam. Been really a make or break event. When they have good meets, they do well on beam. When it's the other way around, unfortunately, it's been a trouble spot.
Natalie looking like a rock up there, sticking each skill. Doing a great job. You can see her focusing on the end of the beam. Out of your skills, you want to make eye contact with the end of the beam. It's going to get you in the best position to stay on top. Small step forward, but rock solid on top. Minimal deduction throughout that routine. The biggest deduction's probably going to come from that step on the dismount.
And so back to floor we go with Emerson Smith. Riley's 9.8. Second highest score at the moment. They're dropping Amber Lowe's 9.725 still with two of the higher scoring gymnasts to come on floor. Emerson Smith was a member of the Big 12 all-freshman team. Has been a mainstay in both the vault and the floor lineups. Two of her last 4 floor routines have scored 9.9 or better, and it's hard to believe that she is just a walk-on to this program, but Jason Butts was sure to tell us that she's working her way to earning a scholarship. You better believe that.
She has some massive tumbling with this full twisting double tuck and E-level tumbling pass. Nice job there. Actually looks like the first skill, her round off, her elbows were bent, didn't really get the normal power that she has. Nice job covering it.
And she did hop forward as well.
I love it when you can see the team in the background. This is a fun team to watch, and they have fun doing the choreography on the side as well. Closes it out the same way as Riley. You're gonna see that front 1.5 twist. Much better landing there.
Julia Brown and the keeper of the plunger hat, ready to, I would imagine, anoint her right here.
And this, you'll see those arms are a little bent, couldn't get her feet all the way underneath her, had to work harder on that full twisting double tuck at the end to keep it on her feet. No issues there though, super clean landing. And holding on to that plunger.
Hold it for dear life. Madeline Komarovsky, the junior from Pittsburgh, just about 2.5 hours from us in State College. She will close out this beam rotation. She'll compete tomorrow no matter what as an individual on beam as well. Was tied for 6th in the Big Ten on beam with a 9.925. Gets to show off all her hard work. Even in this pressure spot, she loves being the anchor.
Difficult one-arm back handspring through to layout step out. She is one of the only gymnasts that does a back handspring with one arm on the beam. You've got to have shoulder strength. And she's just icy on this event. A smooth beam worker. You can see her confidence throughout her skills in her routine. And like you mentioned, you can tell she just thrives off of that pressure. Got the stick on this dismount at Big Tens. Put up a big 9.925, their highest beam score of the meet. Hop on the dismount. Solid work though. Nice bounce back and recovery from Alexa's mistake earlier in the lineup. Got the scary event over with. Can feel confidently blast off going into floor. I love her chest position coming out of that dismount too. It's super vertical.
Definitely did what they needed to on beam. That 9.55 for Rothenbuscher will be dropped. Good news for the Terps. Emerson Smith scored 9.775. They are still dropping Amber Lowe. Now it is a 9.7, so a correction there, dropping from 9.725. That might matter, it might not. It is all up to Anna Lee, the senior out of Minnesota, to decide, who is also an individual on the floor exercise. She will compete tomorrow no matter what happens to her team.
Opens with another E-level tumbling pass for their lineup. Nice front double twist. Anna Lee battling through a lot of injuries, especially on floor. They've had to change her training plan from everybody else's just so she can be in the lineups and sustainable throughout the season.
First full year back for her after tearing her ACL. That's why she wears that big brace on her right knee.
It's always impressive to come back on the leg events, but especially with an ACL, it's tough, especially those forward passes. It's the most intense, and she's doing a great job throughout the season and even today.
She's going to lead off on beam in the rotation for West Virginia as well.
Dynamic and aggressive, puts it right to her feet, shows that she stuck it. Great work on the layout step out as well.
She was all Big 12 on floor for West Virginia, the team's lone all-conference selection. Should be a good score to finish off the Mountaineers on floor, but we saw our first 9-9 of the meet coming from Komarovsky, and that closes out a 49-0 beam rotation for Maryland. They might even just add to their lead. If not, it's going to stay right around what it was, that 7.5 tenths mark going into the fourth rotation. And you would have to think with West Virginia going to beam, Maryland going to floor, that the Terps are in good position to potentially advance to tomorrow's second round. NCAA Gymnastics Championship is beginning Thursday, April 17th. The semifinals are on ESPN2. And then the final is back on ABC April 19th. Preview show 3:30 Eastern. The meet follows at 4. For more information on all 90 NCAA championships, visit ncaa.com. Annalise scores 9.875. So West Virginia cuts into it by 0.5 tenth. That is not going to be enough. They're going to have to do much more in this fourth rotation to supplant the Terps as the winner of this meet. The Stars are going to be out, though, in Pennsylvania. There's no question about it. Kennedy, we are incredibly excited to see Nikki Smith and Michigan State as they look to back to nationals. And they haven't been in so long, since the 80s.
This is one of their best seasons as a team, and Nikki Smith is one of their leaders. She is so fun to watch. And Aaliyah Finnegan.
Aaliyah Finnegan, I mean, how good has she been all year long? And she was really last year's hero on beam in the national championship.
Aaliyah Finnegan is one of their many superstars. Capped off their 2024 season with the national championship winning beam routine, and she is such a delight along with the rest of their team.
Yeah, we talked to Jay Clark before this week, and he is just as fired up as ever. So is his team to repeat. They are the #1 overall seed, supplanting Oklahoma after a huge SEC championship title, their second in a row. Michigan won in 2021. It might be a little bit of a down year being unseeded, surprisingly, for Bev Plocky's Wolverines coming in. But we mentioned Michigan State. For me, they're really the team to beat in this one. LSU is, of course, going to be favored to advance. The fun thing about having the 1 seed, though, is that you get the 8 and 9 as well. Michigan State and Kentucky. That is going to be a real battle. And then Arkansas is the 16 seed. They've already beaten LSU this year. So it is going to be any one of those 4 plus the others that are here. It should be really competitive tomorrow and Saturday. Well, it has been Maryland's meet so far. They lead by 7 tenths over West Virginia. But it's closing time for the Terps, the fourth and final rotation, coming up from State College right after this on ESPN+. Preparing for the fourth and final rotation inside Rec Hall. You can see it's a sizable lead at this moment, significant for Maryland, leading West Virginia by 7/10 with, again, only one rotation for the Mountaineers to make that up. Alex Perlman, national champion Kennedy Baker back with you. Kennedy, as impressive as this has been for Maryland, it was a rough start for West Virginia. Seems like maybe that momentum has carried in the wrong way, but take nothing away from what the Terps have done in the gym.
Absolutely. I think that West Virginia, starting off with that fall, had a hard time bouncing back. We've seen them try to put in that effort to get the lineups going, but it's hard to start and keep going when you're going off of a fall. And Maryland's putting in such a strong performance today. They are exceptional. You can tell they are battling to get to that second day of competition, and we just might see them there.
That is exactly where they are hoping to be, to join the night session tomorrow along with LSU, Arkansas, and Michigan. So just a little bit of a deficit cut into by West Virginia in that third rotation, though it was only by a half a tenth, and quite honestly, not even close to enough in order to make a sizable dent in that lead. But they will head to Beam, where they will hope to have the rotation of their lives, and they'll need some slip-ups from Maryland here in the as they head to floor. Anna Lee finished off last rotation as the anchor on floor with a 9.875, the top score for them, the top score that we've seen on floor so far, and she'll start it off on beam.
And Anna Lee has been in this position before. She has started it off for this West Virginia team several times. And kind of an advantage that we don't really talk about is Anna Lee finishes on floor and then starts on beam. I think that it is an advantage. You're feeling a little bit tired, less of the nerves when you're the anchor and the last one up on floor. Has a little bit of a looser competition going into beam when you're that starter person. Easier to feel like you can be comfortable up there. And she's putting in such good work on top of the beam. Looks unfazed by the intensity of the competition. Just the dismount left. Hard front gainer full. Small shuffle, but great job getting it going for West Virginia on beam.
Her team's season on the line right now, and she only entered that lineup 4 meets in. Has not left, though, as the leadoff on beam.
This is a difficult, usually you see people going backwards on those gainers. I liked her form throughout on that forwards working gainer.
Taylor Reck at a 9.8 to lead off floor exercise, the Big Ten Championship for Maryland. She's competed both events every meet this season. It's going to be maybe potentially a little interesting if Penn State, the host, gets to see Maryland at some point in this competition, because her dad graduated as an Indy Lion.
This is a fun floor rotation that we have ahead. They've got 4 E passes sprinkled in that lineup. They do hard gymnastics, and head coach Brett Nelligan said that he tried putting Taylor back further in the lineup, thought that she could maybe score a little better, but they just can't get off to that same start, he said, without her. That's why she's staying in this starter role, and she said, I want to do that for my team. If you think that's a spot for me, I'll do it. Also doing 3 passes, wrapping with this roundup 1.5 front layout. Clean routine throughout so far. If she can find this landing, it's a good start for Maryland. Great lead off there from Taylor Reck. Exactly why she's in the starter role is because she gets going for her team so consistently, just like that. Big front double twist, has so much height on it. one of the highest ones I've seen so far in the competition. And again, on this double tuck, the landing was so clean. Nice form throughout. Legs super close together when she's flipping. And closes strongly in that final pass.
That is just what Maryland was hoping for. Annalee did start out for West Virginia on beam with a strong 9.8. But remember, they need to make up 7/10, so you can watch the scores as they, and if they are doing that, this meet's going to get a lot closer. But if it stays the same or even favoring Maryland, then it's going to be in good position for the Terps to advance.
And Amber, when she competes on beam, is sharp. Nice save and adjustment there. Was off in that hip. She knows she has to stay on the beam, though, to avoid losing those 5/10. Great finish there. Nice job of absorbing and staying low to the beam on the finishes. You want those knees bent just enough to hold into the landing position. Let's see if she can do it right here as well. Oh, just a little bit off. Didn't have the rise that she needed off of the beam. Tried to go for that stick. Great job adjusting this back on top of the beam. You'll see those toes are turned in. You want your feet forwards or turned out when you land on top of the beam.
Right away, though, you see Annalee scored 9.8. Taylor Reck bettered her at 9.85. She buffing. Steps up with Maryland needing 49.325. That would match their season high team total. Their floor season high is 49.35, so it is possible. But again, they don't need season highs. They don't need program highs. They need to beat the other team. That's all that matters today. One of the most unique days in the college gymnastics calendar.
Beautiful work on her leaps right there. Originally wasn't in the floor lineup. Great job stepping up and putting that routine out there to get another good score for them. A little loose in her legs coming down after the first part of that pass and that front half.
Still, at this point, though, Maryland needs to stay on their feet. They stay on their feet, they are in very good shape.
Open, strong double tuck right here. Short coming out of it, took that step forward. When they lunge, the judges really want to see them step backwards to the lunge if they're landing from a backwards pass. A little uncontrolled out of that. Had some loose form in the second part of that pass. That's why that jump was off at the end.
So here is Julia Brown, the keeper and the acquirer of the plunger hat. In her only action here today, following up the 9.7 from Amber Lowe.
Beautifully done right there. Another tricky spot for Julia. This is the first time we've seen her tonight. It's hard to wait around the entire meet, the entire warm-up, just for your one routine, and especially when the one routine is beam. Strong connection there. Shouldn't be any issues with the fluidity of that arm movement. Wraps it off with a double twist. Great job, their first beam stick for the night. Well, the day.
Let's get ahead of ourselves here. We got 2 more meets tomorrow in the second round. 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock here on ESPN+.
I love the effort that Julia put into this.
So all they can ask for is sticks, good routines, hits, and see where the cards fall. Rhea finishing out her day on beam. On floor, I should say. 9.85 or better on floor in 5 of her last 7 meets, and this is following up Ruffing's 9.8.
Clean front double twist. I actually really like the height on that. Almost stayed in the same spot because she just popped off the air and landed straight down. And this senior class is just so fun. They've done just such a good job leading the team throughout the years, but especially this year.
This senior class has been so special. 8 of them that Brett Nelligan said has really become family. I mean, beat number 6 Minnesota in 2022. 1 point scored, 197 in back-to-back meets. Really taking this program to an entirely different level than when they got here. It's really all you can ask for as a gymnast at your school.
One of the reasons that they're excelling is the trust that they have in each athlete. We're seeing their scores even building right now, trusting that the person before is going to hit and put up a routine that makes it easier for you to compete and be looser when you are competing. And this front double twist was so good. Definitely the favorite that I've seen tonight. I love how it was almost in the same spot because she got so high in the air.
Julia Brown just before for West Virginia, posting the first 9.9 that we have seen on beam from the Mountaineers, tying Madeline Komarovsky of Maryland for the high score on that event today. And now Carly Nelson with the opportunities starting to dwindle for the Mountaineers.
Nice work on her acro series here. It does seem that West Virginia is settling in. Unfortunately, it's on the last event that they're finally finding this rhythm and groove throughout the lineup. But we're seeing this freeness and looseness in their competition. Obviously, the skills are phenomenal, but they seem more relaxed up there, and that's the competition that head coach Jason Butts wanted from the team from the start. Another handspring gainer full. Back-to-back sticks for West Virginia. Those are the landings that they have to get if they want to make it to the next day. And Maryland's going to have to make a mistake from the floor side. Great job drilling that dismount, though.
And now Komarovsky for Maryland, following up the 9.9 from LeBlanc. Komarovsky with a 9.9 on beam in her last routine. Now, Kennedy, I do wonder if you extrapolate it out and Maryland does close this meet down. They've already competed once, so they know the lay of the land, so to speak, but they have also done a full meet. And I do wonder, how does that impact them? Is it positive? Is it a negative? Is it somewhere in between? That's like the perennial age-old question when it comes to competing in the first round.
And I think it's both, Alex. I think there's an advantage and a disadvantage. They're more familiar with the rest of the competition with the equipment, which is super important. Each apparatus feels differently from meet to meet. So the fact that they have this familiarity with events already is huge. But then again, they're going to be a little tired. They just did a full competition and then have another one if they make it tomorrow. It's tough on your body, especially for the seniors, and they've got a lot of seniors in the lineup.
You know, also, Kennedy, let me ask you about, they go from podium a couple of weeks ago now to being on the floor. How does that impact everybody?
Good point. It impacts a lot. Podium is easier on your body. We talked about the bounce. It's harder to get those sticks, but it's softer. This is on hard floor, so that vault landing is a little bit harder. That bar dismount is a little bit more intense, and you feel that especially at the end of season.
Another hit here for Maryland for Komarovsky. This is turning into a really big floor rotation for Maryland. Their national qualifying score, their average swords coming into this meet, 49.175. And they are potentially going to break that mark. Again, they need a 49.325 to match their season high. Their floor high is 49.35. Here's Carly DiCello, and no matter what happens, we are going to see her tomorrow as well for West Virginia, not only on vault, but also on this apparatus, the beam.
Opens with a triple series. Difficult, well done. Known as the Candy Queen, has to have a little sweet treat before she competes. Only hits her best routines when she's got that candy before the meet. And it looks like she got it today. Just the dismount left. I saw her stick it. So close.
Still pretty sweet dismount right there for DiCello.
This is so hard. 2 layout step outs in a row. You have to have the flight and the specificity to be on top of the beam and able to move into the next acro element. And dismount, oh, tried to dig those heels into the ground, just a short there.
Carly's older sister, Kayla, getting ready to start their competition. Tomorrow they are in Alabama. And the number 3 Gators, even though, of course, Kayla is still recovering from her injury, training for and competing for a spot on the U.S. Olympic team. You know, by all accounts, and to what she's put out on social media, she's feeling good, starting to really train well, and I think excited about returning to gymnastics.
A lot of height on that opening pass. Now she has upgraded this floor routine. She upgraded it from a double pipe routine to a full in. I mentioned they had 4 E-level passes. She's capable of a full in. However, Alex, like we talked about how long this meet is if Maryland makes it to the next day, I wonder if they edited out full in and swapped it for the double tuck, knowing that they might have another floor competition tomorrow.
Yeah, that's smart. And also, the way things are going, they're going to advance. So it's not like they need a huge score. They just need something solid right now. She only needs an 8.825 to clinch the meet for Maryland. I mean, she can fall a couple times at this point.
That was a great call. Nice routine. Maryland should feel good. Had a really good competition. Still have one more routine to wrap it up for them. Nice job, though, from Lauren. And yes, that was a smart choice to take out that full twisting double tuck. That's usually right here. can rest her body, though, a little bit more in preparation for tomorrow's meet.
Just needed to keep it to her feet. Mission accomplished, and the Terps will move on. So they continue once again. West Virginia with Eden Webster is going to finish this off, the freshman. The opportunity following up the 9.775 from Carly DiCello. Still a success of a season in every way for West Virginia. You go from missing regionals, finishing 51st in the country. That is not where we associate the Mountaineers with. To making the NCAA tournament, they had to hold their breath, the final team in the field. And they did not have to watch regionals from home on TV this time around. They got to compete for the right to advance. And, you know, they're going to say goodbye to some really important seniors. Anna Lee, who we will see compete tomorrow, but Brooke Albin. This is a young team, and they're going to have a lot of potential. A lot of those freshmen are still going to compete tomorrow as well. We're going to see Carly DiCello. We're going to see Sophia Rice.
Even for Eden Webster, this routine is great experience to bring into next year's competition. They've been so fun to follow this season with that Cinderella season. So much improvement they've made, and like you said, they have a young team. They've got a lot coming up. Big future for West Virginia.
Nice way to close out the meet. Hit routine from the freshman to Webster. And we are being told that Maryland's not even going to compete Alexa Rothenbuscher. They don't need her with a 49.25. They've already clinched this meet. This is what we call load management right here, right? I mean, why would you send your all-arounder out here, or really anybody else, I guess? Even though you could give someone with a little less experience an opportunity. But you know what? You wipe your hands clean. That's the meet. Move on, get back to the hotel, and prepare for tomorrow. So congratulations to the Terps with an impressive 196.25.
Yeah, that was a great start for their regional competition. They should feel good about it. Had a lot of great gymnastics out there. Had several sticks throughout the meet.
Brett Nelligan. Let's see if we can listen in.
That is, guys, I can't believe you didn't get a 24 for 24 tonight. Like,
What? No.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a 23 for 23.
Guys, listen.
Love that they're keeping things light.
Guys, so proud of you. Listen carefully. Never take it for granted. I told you guys, hearing your name called is another thing. Winning a round at the NCAA tournament is another. Never take it for granted what you guys did tonight, how proud you should be of yourselves, okay? Soak this in. Don't let it go by fast. Let's enjoy this. When we get back to the hotel, we'll start to recover for tomorrow. But before we leave this arena, be proud of yourselves, guys. I love this team. I'm very proud of you. Great job.
All right, Terps win it. Absolutely crushing today.
And proud should be the feeling they walk away with. Like he said, this team has grown so much over the season. They found this peak at the end. Had a great competition today. 23 out of 23, like they said. We want to get 24 out of 24 tomorrow and just carry that momentum from today.
Yeah, they really closed it out well, and I think that was the biggest thing, right? Because you look at their score on beam of 49-0. You will absolutely take that in this competition when you know it's 1v1 and you just got to better your other team. You're not looking for maybe a huge score. You do what you need to do, and then closing it out, the icing on the cake was that 49.25 on floor. And what a luxury, Kennedy, to not have to compete your all-arounder Rothenbuscher and keep her just a little bit fresher going into the night session tomorrow against LSU, Arkansas, and Michigan, because they're absolutely going to need a big score from Rothenbuscher. And we are joined by the victorious head coach of the Terrapins, Brett Nelligan. Brett, got a chance to listen in on the huddle right there. I know, disappointing. You couldn't go 24 for 24, but my goodness, what a competition for you guys. And I don't think it was anything that your team was taking for granted that you would get to advance, but now you've done it. What did you think of the meet?
They were incredible tonight. I just, the precision was there, their pace control. I love the way that they attacked all night long. We felt like we were good enough to advance, but in this sport, nothing's guaranteed. So you have to come out and earn it. West Virginia's a great team, and they're well coached. So I'm just proud of the performance we put up tonight, and hopefully we did it the right way that preserves us for tomorrow too.
Alexa was great tonight, Brett, and you actually got to pull her on the last event and rest her a little bit. What impressed you the most about her competition tonight?
You know, when you see a fifth-year senior like that, this is her first year doing the all-around. I know she didn't do floor just now, but she's just getting better and better as the years go on, as the meets go on, and that's what you want to see. You know, what an incredible, it just speaks to her character and her toughness and what she's able to come out here and do for the team.
Brett, going into the second round, you are going to be the only team that has experience in this arena right now, except for Penn State, of course, but this week. What did you learn today, and what can you take now into the second round?
Well, I think you're inside my huddle, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about now, is like we should be able to go into tomorrow feeling the most comfortable and the most confident. We've been in here. This first round can be stressful, but the way we handled ourselves, their poise, their control, it was exceptional. So my expectation is that we do the exact same thing tomorrow and then see where the chips fall.
And Brett, congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely looking forward to seeing the Terrapins join LSU, Arkansas, and Michigan. So the field is set for the second round. We start off 1 Eastern right here on ESPN. Plus, Kennedy and I back with you for the 8 and 9 seeds, Michigan State and Kentucky, joined by out of the pack, the Big Ten, Ohio State and Penn State to start off the competition. You got to finish in the top 2 of each of the second round to get to the regional final, and then the top 2 there in order to get to Fort Worth to the national championship. Kennedy, it sets up a great field, and what a weekend we have in store.
Yeah, it's going to be intense. You can see, we saw the battle from these teams today, and tomorrow it's going to be even harder.
Maryland gets the chance as we are underway here in the NCAA championship in 2025 to paste their name on the big board. They are advancing, and the Terrapins season continues here at State College. I mean, what a way to start things off. We are not done with gymnastics action, though. Here on ESPN Plus, Utah State and BYU coming up in 15 minutes out in Salt Lake City. They will try to join Utah, Stanford, and Denver in the second round evening session out in Utah. But, I mean, what a fun way to kick things off. That was a really exciting meet, and it was definitely Maryland's to prove that they belonged in that spot and to prove that they belong in the second round as well.
Yeah, this team is a fighting team. You could tell they wanted to get to that next day of competition. They wanted it all season long, and I can't wait to see them fight again tomorrow, along with everybody else.
Well, we are not even close to done here at Penn State inside Rec Hall. We've got 2 meets tomorrow, 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock Eastern time, right back on ESPN Plus, and then the regional final comes your way on Saturday evening. That will do it for us, though, until tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us for first round action of the 2025 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship. With Kennedy Baker for our fantastic crew, I'm Alex Perlman saying so long. We will talk to you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, for the first of 2 second round matchups.
It is going to be one for the ages.
This one is going to be a nail-biter, no doubt about it.
She just does it so effortlessly. Nailing that landing.
They've been dreaming of this moment since they were little.
Basketball has March Madness. Women's gymnastics has April Anarchy.